maybe I like, yeah. So after your announcement of the part 4, I should start my food, I think. Let's try this.
Okay.
And you can start.
Dance of shame, brother of jealousy, blue wave of sadness, leave Earthgod alone. Puppet strings, pulling the Earthgod's arms, heart filled with soil, rising, 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 toil, sweat and tears turn the blue sky black, till death knocks on the door and Earthgod cannot turn back. Night. The Milky Way burned bright, stars winking, blinking, switching themselves on and off all over the firmament. On such a night, Fox came to pay Birch Tree a visit, a book of poetry under his arm. Stoking the embers of conversation, he spoke of Andromeda and Orion, of Scorpio, and how in ancient China the biggest star was named Firestar. As Taurus began to climb in the east above the plain, Fox told his first lie. I have a telescope on order from Germany. It will arrive next spring. You can use it sometime. Having spoken without thinking, Fox was quick to bury the truth with a smile. Birch Tree, unaware, continued to admire the stars, blossoming like flowers, yellow, red and white, in an ink black sky. Till Fox caught her eye. You know, I'll do anything for you. Here, would you like to read this book of poetry? Oh, may I really borrow it? Said the birch. By all means, take as long as you like. Handing her the book, Fox turned to go. Birch tree leaves rustling in a south wind. Turn pages of poetry till early dawn. Day, sombre, bathed in molten copper of morning light, Earthgod arrived. He came with questions. Why is grass green when soil is brown? Might it be that grass is showing the true colours of the seed? Said the birch tree. But toadstools in autumn, they come straight out of the ground, without seeds or anything, blossoming into different colours, of all different kinds. Still wrapped in the warmth of her memory, the birch tree breathed. How would it be if you asked Mr. Fox? Fox? What can a fox teach a god? Pacing back and forth, Earthgod's body ablaze, grass shivered with fear wherever his jet-black shadow fell. Fox is a blight on the face of the earth. not a word of truth in him, cowardly and terribly envious into the game. Birch tree quivered and quivered. "Soon will be time for your yearly festival at your shrine," said the birch, regaining her composure at last. Earthgod thought for a while, and burst out again. "Human beings, though, are a useless lot. They don't bring a single offering to my festival nowadays." Birch tree's attempts to soothe him had had the opposite effect, so she sat, fluttering her leaves in the breeze. Blue with anger and red with pain, Earthgod stormed off home, leaving the birch tree alone again. Home. In a small island of light stood the Earthgod's shrine, propped against the trunk of a twisted willow tree. Thinking, sinking deeper into the heat of his own misery, sat Earthgod. In the distance, a solitary woodcutter was on his way to work, Mount Mitsumori rising above the morning mist. When Earthgod caught sight of the woodcutter, he forgot all about the red-hot pokers of pain, his eyes burning with mischief. Puppet strings of jealousy, sleeves rolled back, Earthgod twisted his wrists and twirled the woodcutter in the wind. His laughter rose in waves towards the blue dome sky, found the birch tree, her sun-stamped silhouette swaying in the breeze. But again, the blue flames of pain licked the walls of the Earthgod's belly, and his mind flickered between thinking, was the fox, or was it the birch that made him so miserable? Far, far away, the sound of cavalry, the crackling of rifle fire like salt thrown onto flames, woke the fallen woodcutter, who burst out crying and soon ran away. August. A petal holds a falling sky. Earthgod wandered through the mist, heart heavy with soil, a cold wind of loneliness blowing from the east. Without realizing it, he'd been following the trail of the birch tree's scent, when it dawned on him that he was on the way to see her. At the threshold of twilight, in the shadows of doubt, Earthgod watched the birch tree's leaves dancing in the moonlight. But Fox was there. His words drifted in the wind as he spoke of home, a microscope in one corner, London Times lying over there. a marble bust of Caesar here. Earthgod was quite beside himself. It seemed Fox was actually more impressive than he. "Has the telescope you once mentioned come yet?" said the birch tree. "The telescope I mentioned? Oh no, it hasn't arrived yet. As soon as it comes, I'll bring it along." Earthgod's insides, split to two, ran in a straight line till he finally collapsed, exhausted, at the foot of Mount Mizamori. He cried and cried, the sound echoing like thunder over the plain. Cold and wet, he wandered back to his shrine. Autumn. Time passed, and autumn came. Here and there, berries of lilies showed ripe and red. Earthgod's pain had long ago melted away. He felt that if the birch tree wanted to talk to the fox, she could, and that if the two of them enjoyed chatting to each other, all was good. With a light heart, he went to pay Birch Tree a visit. "Good morning. Isn't it a lovely day?" said Earthgod. It was the turn of the fox, wearing his light brown leather shoes, brown raincoat, and still in his summer hat, to feel the chill of envy. "Good morning," said Fox. "I believe that's Earthgod I see there." Earthgod, without a shadow on his mind, replied, "Yes, that is I." "I must apologize for coming when you have a visitor," said Fox to the birch. "Oh, and I'll show you the telescope one evening when the skies are clear." He waved goodbye. Earthgod gazed blankly at the fox's retreating form. When he caught a sudden glint of sunlight on the fox's brown leather shoes amidst the grass, he came to himself in a start. Earthgod seized with rage. He'd show him what's what. Fox with his poetry and telescope. Blind with hate, Earthgod began the chase. Birch tree's leaves shook and shivered as the two snorted and panted like two railway trains. The bright blue sky became a yawning black pit with crimson flames burning and roaring. Fox ran as if in a dream. All the while his brain kept saying, "This is the end, this is the end. Telescope, telescope, telescope." In a small hammock of bare earth, Fox ducked and Earthgod dived. Rain beats upon the mud. Earthgod's fists pounding at the fox like clay. Rain falling, tears on the fox's blooded hide. Head lolling, limp, with the faintest of smiles.